Smackdown rolls on. We are just days away from Clash at the Castle, and there's been a lot of things going on Smackdown this week, which we're going to get into right now on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. Smackdown initially began with the anointment ceremony of Tangaloa as a member of the Bloodline, Tamatonga Tangaloa, and of course Solo Sikoa. Now the official are Bloodline members. We've got the new right hand man in there. Solo Sikoa anointing both members of the new Bloodline now. But interestingly enough, before that, we did get another QR code as Solo was coming out, and this was a Uncle Howdy. Now we're expecting Uncle Howdy to debut potentially as early as this coming Saturday at Clash at the Castle. Could well be the Raw after that on the 17th. But QR code was it was a lengthy message, but basically it was around for now. I am not speaking to them. I intend this for you. There was lots of stuff. There's a long message, and it was suddenly I found myself without a path. I believed myself to be lost. I allowed myself to be blinded. I was going to let the cave win, but I did not stay that way. And it was around, I found my way out of darkness. I saw what was expected of me and accepted the cost. I admit it wasn't easy. I feared you had forgotten, but you remembered who you are. You remembered who you are. Thank you, because this is for you. We're never the chosen ones. We just wanted to belong. It carries on. I know I can't wait to see you. I appreciate your excitement. It won't be long now. I just want to say thank you. We have become more than what we could imagine. The story will be told. The pain will be worth it. It's all because of you. You did this. This is your fault. The blood that rains down drips from your hands. Thank you. Now, it's kind of wondering whether they're going to be heel or face now, because at 1 minute they're saying they can't wait to see you, and the next minute saying the blood on their hands is because of you, and this is all your fault. So it's kind of strange on this one. Obviously we know who it is, but we go about who are they targeting? Who is Uncle Howdy and his group going to be targeting? Now, initially they could have been from the people where the QR codes would flash up, but that's a little bit too vague now because there's been so many on so many different people. It is a really intriguing one, but we always said this, and we've said this for the last couple of weeks, is all of this, is the whole reveal, is the whole sort of build up going to be better than what happens when the reveal happens? We'll have to wait and see. But going back to the anointment, what happened was it was overshadowed by Kevin Owens coming out for another fight. And then as they were beating down Kevin Owens, the Street Profits came out and basically evened up the odds. Paul Heyman still not quite on the side of the Bloodline by the sounds of it. They made him go to make a match with Nick Aldis for the 6-man, which turned out to be the main event. Now, however, what we have known since SmackDown has finished and this has been recorded is there is yet another member of the Bloodline, another brother, the brother of Tanga and Toa, Huliko, has just finished up with New Japan Wrestling, and potentially, if rumors are to be believed, he is on his way to the WWE, which means yet another member. We've still got potentially Fatu coming in as well. There's going to be a lot going on if this happens. Huliko, the next one, the brother of Tama and Tanga, or whatever they're bloody called. They're too many different names, but potentially we could have another 1 or 2 members of the Bloodline joining the WWE very soon. Zilla Fatu is another one who's been rumored as well. It is all going on the Bloodline side of things, but potentially Huliko and Ed Fatu, and potentially Zilla Fatu as well. There's 2 Fatus that may be joining the Bloodline, or at least joining WWE. Whether they join the Bloodline or not, that's another thing. But the Bloodline is evolving again on SmackDown, and we will not be far away from the return of the real tribal chief, Roman Reigns. And I think that is going to be a generational pop when Roman comes back. I hope it's not planned. I hope it's one of those ones that just comes out of nowhere. But we'll have to wait and see. But it's intriguing nevertheless. And that storyline, that cinema as it's called, is just keeping on rolling on the WWE. Now, some news that we broke actually on the AEW review yesterday. Contract news in WWE. Ricochet seems to be leaving the WWE. He apparently has given notice that he intends to leave in the summer when his contract is up. Did drop the speed title this week to Andrade, so potentially writing him out of storylines. Interesting one, that one. Ricochet's never really. It was always going to be difficult for Ricochet to potentially get to, maybe a level that he may thinks he's at, or a level where he was. I mean, the Intercontinental title, US title, tag team title level, I get it. That was Ricochet. That's where there was going to position Ricochet. There was never going to be, there's never going to be a world title reign for him. That was never going to happen. Let's just be real about the situation. It just was never going to happen. So potentially he's leaving. Now there is options. Obviously, there's going to be options. AEW seems the likely choice. And as I said yesterday when we done the AEW review, that I don't think it's going to make him. For me, it's a sideways thing. It's going to be. It's going to be more to do with the fact that maybe where he wants to wrestle is maybe more important, because he's only going to be, say upper echelons of mid card in AEW as well. He's not going to be. I doubt very much he'll ever be AEW champion, but he does have matches there with like Will Ospreay and people like that. And perhaps he feels, or perhaps he believes he'll be less restricted in in AEW than he was in WWE. Nevertheless, it seems as if Ricochet is one that is going to be leaving the WWE. There's two others that are contracts that are nearly up. One of them is Natalia. As it stands right now, as it stands as of this morning, no contract has been agreed with Natalia at all. So that is an interesting one there, to say the least. Not quite sure what will happen with Natalia going forward. I'm also not quite sure what was going to happen with the next person, which is Chad Gable, who is currently kind of on a handshake deal that gets him through to Clash at the Castle. He has had a contract put in front of him, from what we've been told, and from what the dirt sheets of that have been told. He has a contract offer from WWE. AEW is all over it as well. They want Chad Gable as well. He is a big one. I think the concern for me is what I said the other day on the AEW review, is that why have they let these contracts get this close to being, basically why they let these guys' contracts run down without even offering them? As far as we're aware, anyway, we don't know that to be factual, but it just feels like they've just let these ones go. The TKO merger and such, what may have had something to do with it. But it's just very, I mean, especially, Chad Gable blew my mind, the fact that he's basically working without a contract at the minute. Now, I think the Chad Gable one is more of a safe bet that he stays in WWE. The other two, Natalia and Ricochet, I don't know. Well, Ricochet is more likely to be leaving, as of what we heard. Natalia, I think, would benefit from leaving the WWE. I think, look, she's been in WWE for decades, I think now, nearly 2 decades, surely. And she has done, she's done so much there. And sometimes that bit of freshened ground may, that fresh new place, new feuds, new chance for her to sort of maybe again come out of her shell a little bit and see what she can do against some of the other women in wrestling. Who knows? Listen, we will know more this week for sure. Perhaps when we do the Raw review, we'll know a bit more about what's going on in terms of contract situations, but all very up in the air at the moment. People coming in, people coming out. It's exciting times in wrestling at the moment, not only in WWE, but in wrestling. The women's championships now. Now, the women's tag championships, they have targets on their back, and those targets have increased. Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair beat Indy Hartwell, Candice LeRae this week on SmackDown. But nevertheless, they have now got two teams that they are going to be fighting at Clash at the Castle this week. One of them is Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, and the other one is Alba Fire, and Isla Dawn. So the women's tag team champions now have two other opponents this week. A lot of targets on the back for Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, the tag team, although they are seeming steamrolling through the tag team division at the moment. Will it continue at Clash at the Castle? I think it will. I don't see them dropping the titles just yet. I don't think there's really any credible opponents really for them, if I'm being totally honest with you. They've got everything, haven't they, those two? And Jade Cargill's obviously improving as well, which is great. She's already looking like a megastar as it is. I don't see them dropping anytime soon. Just slight aside, Jordynne Grace was not successful in winning the NXT Women's Championship at the pay-per-view yesterday. Taxon Paisley put paid to that, which I'm assuming is going to be the person that's going to take Jordynne Grace's offer of a chance at the TNA Knockouts Championship this coming week against all odds on Friday. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on that one. So just want to slide aside that, but congratulate Jordynne Grace on a great performance as well. And hopefully it's not the last time we see her in NXT or in WWE for that matter. And the TNA partnership, I think we could be seeing some magic for that. They've been talking about the WWE in the locker room. Apparently the locker room talk has been more about Josh Alexander and Leon Slater coming into WWE, as part of a crossover. And that for me is money. I couldn't wait for that. I hope that happens. Really do, because I think that would be awesome for WWE to get them on. And just like, just to get AJ Styles maybe back over in TNA for a last hurrah, as well. He was a huge part of TNA in its inception, carried that company on his back for so long. It would be great to have him have a little bit of a run in TNA at the end there with the WWE, of course. We'll get on to AJ Styles in a minute because he has managed to get another title shot. But Logan Paul was busy playing Tetris this week, the United States champion at a Tetris tournament. Yeah. Anyway, we're more so with that is that his opponent seeming to be, whenever they can set it up, will be LA Knight. Finally could be happening. LA Knight could finally be getting the gold around his waist. It's been a while. Arguably, it's been too long, really. But he's still getting the reactions. He's still getting everything from the crowd. They still love him. So they need to strike it with LA Knight, and I think they're going to need to do it whenever he takes on Logan Paul for that US title, whether it be at Clash, whether it be at Money in the Bank, or whether it be at SummerSlam. They need to pull the trigger on LA Knight. But it does seem as if LA Knight is on a collision course with Logan Paul for the United States Championship. Should be a good contest and a great match. But I think it's time that WWE pulled that trigger on the megastar, LA Knight. Yeah, somebody else that's seemingly going through a change and a very interesting one, Austin Theory. Obviously still the part of the men's tag team champions with Grayson Waller, but there seems to be some dissension. And over the last few weeks, you've noticed Austin Theory's mannerisms towards Grayson. Grayson's been dropping a few little, things at him, kind of been mugging him off a little bit. And, this week we saw Austin Theory again, not very happy. They did, Grayson Waller did win his match against Gargano, but there was, very much all's not well, I don't think, in A-Town Down Under. And we could be seeing face turn for Austin Theory. Interesting one, considering, look, he never really recovered. We said this before on the SmackDown Lowdown that he's never really recovered from Cena annihilating him on the mic before WrestleMania, although he did go on to beat John Cena at that WrestleMania. He never really recovered from it. And now it seems as if they're focusing him now on becoming a face. it's an interesting one, an interesting think about this, whether or not it's going to work. But they need to change something about him, and maybe changing him to a face could work. But we'll need to see. It's an interesting change and a switch that will be happening, I reckon, very, very soon. The moment they drop their tag titles is the moment that Austin Theory gets turned on by Grayson Waller for absolute sure. And I just wonder if it will work, though. That is the key bit here. Will it actually work for Austin Theory? Something's got to give there, because he certainly has not uh, recovered from that John Cena promo, basically getting annihilated on the mic, for want of a better phrase. So we'll see. But yeah, Austin Theory could be turning face very soon on SmackDown. An interesting one, to say the least. Bailey had Piper Niven cut one of the best promos that she's ever cut in WWE. She was talking about how, where Bailey was hugging people, she was trailblazing. She was in the, the Mae Young Classic. She was doing all of this stuff while Bailey was hugging people and inflatables are popping up. Piper Niven has really took it up a notch, and you can tell that there is a lot of Scottish contingent wrestling at Clash. Drew, Piper, Alba, and Isla. And you are seeing them put some of the best work that they've ever done out there. They're really, you can tell that they're really on this. They really want to make Clash at the Castle special. Obviously, the SmackDown comes from Scotland this week as well, in Glasgow. So they're really going all out. And you can tell on their promos, especially Piper Nivens this week, that she is fully focused on the match with Bailey. I know Bailey's not well as well. She's got the flu, apparently. That's why she wasn't NXT last night. But Piper Niven has really taken her up a level. I know she's with Chelsea Green and all of that stuff, and that's fun. There's a comedic value to that. But Piper Niven is very much all systems go, and she delivered an excellent, excellent promo this past week on SmackDown, getting ready for her match against Bailey. We will see what happens this weekend. Now, another title match before we hit the main event of SmackDown that was booked this week is a rematch. And I remember last week, AJ Styles faked a retirement angle, a bit like Mark Henry did with John Cena. He done it with Cody Rhodes. He gave him the Styles clash off the stairs onto the floor. So Cody Rhodes was angry this week. Nick Aldis stepped up security, didn't want anything going on. But the match was set. Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles at Clash of the Castle. I Quit match. Very interesting stipulation to this, but it goes back to this before. The match is going to be great. Their first match was great. This match will be great, but what are they doing with Cody, the champion, since he's become champion? It seems as though they're just not sure what they got to do with him as champion, and it's disappointing, really, because you wanted Cody to kind of like, you kind of have a few throwaway matches for championships when you've just won the title, just to get your feet on, get your toes wet, so to speak. But then you go into a full-fledged, good, lengthy feud, and he hasn't. I mean, you can't even call AJ Styles a lengthy feud either, because he hasn't really had it. He had that match, and then they've waited, and now it's come back to this one. It's just not long enough for me. There needs to be a real opportunity for a few. Maybe it could well be after the AJ Styles match at Clash, where something really gets, really Cody can really get his teeth stuck into a feud a little bit more. He's had them a lot with Nakamura, he had it with Rollins, had it with Reigns, but since he's become champion, he just hasn't really had a noteworthy feud or anything. As I said before, it's just been kind of throwaway stuff, really. But we will see. AJ Styles will definitely have a great match with Cody. There's no doubt about that. And this week at Clash, I Quit rules. Looking forward to that match for sure. But would like something more done with Cody. But maybe we will, because we head on to Money in the Bank and SummerSlam after that. So really should be shaping up to be a good middle part of the year, or a good sort of mid to latter part of the year, hopefully, for Cody, and they'll get him a few to be invested in. Main event was the aforementioned Bloodline against Kevin Owens and the Street Profits. The Bloodline did win that match. They decimated everybody. Not a surprise, really. They need to keep booking the Bloodline strong. We know what's coming. We know it's coming. We know Roman Reigns will be back soon. So we're just going through the bloodline motion, so to speak. Paul Heyman at some point is going to get annihilated, I would say, which will bring back the tribal chief. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to what they're doing. I mean, adding sort of Hulicos, um, adding Hulico to that, adding, maybe the Fartus to it, Jacob and Zilla. There's so much going on. And again, even without Roman Reigns, the bloodline is still prevalent. It's still going strong on SmackDown. And I'm really enjoying this innings of the bloodline. We have got so much more to go. Will the Usos get back together? Will Roman get his own bloodline back? What will happen? We haven't got long to find out, guys. This week is shaping up to be good. It's the go home for Clash. Friday, they've got Monday Night Raw tonight. We got Friday Night SmackDown emanating from Glasgow, Scotland, live. We've got live Clash at the Castle from Scotland as well. And then the following week on Raw, A, we start the build to Money in the Bank, but B, we get the Uncle Howdy reveal, and will CM Punk show up at Clash at the Castle and cost Drew McIntyre the title? He was at NXT yesterday. He's becoming a bit more prevalent again. Will Punk cost McIntyre the title? Listen, guys, for WWE stuff, we'll be back this week. Raw, SmackDown, Clash at the Castle. Keep an eye out on that on socials at HTT Buckle. Big thank you to everyone that's been watching on the YouTube. The watch hours are flying through the roof. So thank you so much for everyone watching on YouTube. And yes, there is some big interviews to come. The NWA territories will be back this week as well. And Lance Archer, AEW star Lance Archer, used to be Lance Hoyt in the WWE, will be coming on the show as well. But guys, this has been the SmackDown Lowdown. I have been your host, Adam Cousins, and you have been watching the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. And until next time, everybody, buckle down and stay safe.